with portals, and I don't have an intro this time. DC, am I right? My Adventures with Superman is the latest animated outing of the Man of Steel, and is his first solo animated act since 1996? It's been 27 years? DC? Buddy? How? Anyways, it goes without saying, but in case you didn't know, yes, this is another case of a Cartoon Network series being moved to Adult Swim for unknown reasons. So, with Cartoon Network starting to pick up premieres for the next few months, I'm less mad this time around, but I'm still allowed to be very confused. At least with Unicorn, you could argue, oh, it's Genndy Tartakovsky. The main appeal of his style is for adults anyways, but kids like Superman. He's the most super basic superhero to ever exist. The only other argument I could see for this series is it's too intense for Cartoon Network, but if a PG action cartoon is seen as too much for that network nowadays, man, that's just sad. But about the actual show itself, what's it about? Well, get this. It's about Superman's adventures. More specifically though, it's about Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen's origins at the Daily Planet. While looking into scoops to help them become official reporters, they start to run into troubles with villains, causing Clark to begin acknowledging his alien heritage, making him use his powers to become Superman, which inherently makes him a scoop for Lois to follow. Now, well, yes, there is a lot of mysteries and unique adaptations of villains at this story's center. The main appeal is Clark, Lois, and Jimmy. When they're together, when they're apart, no matter the circumstances, you are watching the show for them. Clark is definitely the highlight for me. Superman as a hero and character has always been very boring to me. Either he's a way too dark and unappealing, or just a very boring, very basic, good superhero. So I never really got into his adventures. However, with my adventures, they managed to make him make sense to me. I want to say he's a himbo, but he's too smart to fit that world, you know? He's still an awkward mess, however, struggling to not only keep his secret, but also his morals in a world that's trying to label him and his actions. It makes him a really appealing character, not only in terms of his actions, but his personality too. His story here also almost reads like an immigrant metaphor, and has a perfect line between feeling very subtle and obvious that makes it make sense and work for me, you know? So yeah, this show made me understand Superman. That's practically a miracle considering the previous data portrayals. Lois, on the contrary, is very confident and ambitious, often getting into risky situations just to get the scoop. She plays well off of Clark in this way, helping push him out of his comfort zone, and really any time they spend together is just so wholesome, as long as you ignore episodes 5 and 6. And Jimmy is just a bit goofy, being a big conspiracy nut and often serving as the comic relief, which often means he's the one amping up Lois's antics. Of course, he's typically left out of things due to Clark and Lois's relationship being the show's core, but he's still a perfect addition to this wacky trio. So yeah, the central trio all great, they make the show stand out, but in terms of other characters, we may get a little bit controversial. Yes, Superman's rogues gallery is a lot different than usual, as he's being put up against Task Force X, and yes, there are very different takes on the characters here, usually to fit within this anime style the series has going on. Now of course though, I'm not a DC guy, and I don't care! Even local weirdo Isid, who I watched this and does actually know who the hell a Mixapitolix is, doesn't care, so I think this approach is fine. And of course, I know the storyline itself has also been controversial. In particular, a lot of people have had a lot of nitpicks with things like Clark's clumsiness with his powers, or Lois's actions during that one episode I won't spoil. Now of course, these people are DC fans on Twitter, so their opinions are invalid and also stupid. Like all of these things are so easy to understand, like literal children could understand why things happen the way they do in this show because it's explained in the show. But outside of that vocal minority, and to calm down for a second, I think the story here is really well done and captivating. Having us grow to enjoy these characters before putting them in serious trouble makes these moments more captivating. Plus there's foreshadowing, connections, and a plot twist which I easily guessed, which makes it all satisfying to watch. And of course you might think it's an anime, but it's not. The art style is very anime inspired, but it's actually a collaboration between the American Warner Bros. Animation and South Korean studio Studio Moore, known for projects like Voltron, Kipo, and The Legend of Korra, so actually this is pretty much perfect for them. It looks good! For a 2D animated series, it feels very well lit, there's plenty of shots which look gorgeous, and the animation during action scenes especially is smooth as hell, and the impact feels real. Like, it genuinely feels brutal when it is. So yeah, it's a great balance between inspiration and uniqueness that the series needs. So between some clever seeming, charming characters, and a unique style all of its own, in Japan of course, My Adventures with Superman is a series I really enjoyed. Despite some of the more downer moments episodes featured, I don't think I didn't come out of a single episode without smiling at least once, because this is just a really fun show to watch, and that's all it needed to be. It's a good show, interesting adaptation, and I can't wait to see what's next in season 2. Hopefully an earlier time slot, because there was no need for these things to be so late, right? Anyways, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go and beg studios for more animated comic book adaptations, because they have been the only thing keeping the genre alive, and I need more, okay? TMNT? Great! Spider-Verse? Masterpiece. And yes, I am talking about you, Moon Girl. You will always be famous. And now I don't know how to end this. What the